Welcome to Scorched and the general mid-month reading for the sign of Libra, Sun, Moon or Ascendant. I'm going to keep it shorter than the main monthly reads because it's only covering a 2-week period from the 15th to the 31st of July. And to that end, I'm going to pull 3 cards for your current energy, 3 cards for what's coming towards you, and 3 cards of advice. See if we can't ease the way for you just a little. I'd like to take the opportunity to thank all those people who turned up for my birthday live stream at the weekend. 1 year anniversary of being on YouTube. I thought it was something that was worth celebrating. So it was a lot of fun. 6 hours long. Didn't feel like it at all until the last hour, and then I was fading pretty fast. But thank you. It means a lot to me that you all turned up to celebrate with me. And also thank you to those people who have joined Patreon and the channel memberships that are now open now. Now open. It means so much to me that you have faith and confidence, and you value the work that I do enough that you would back me in such a way. So thank you so very much. I love you all. So let's have a look and see what's going on with you. Could I have 3 cards for Libra's current energy, please? Whoa. Oh, a card that came gambolling out of there was the 9 of Pentacles. The 4 of Swords flipped over, but it didn't come out, so I'm not gonna put it on the table. 2 more cards for Libra, please. 8 of Cups. I actually thought that was the Star, but it was not. Let's check that nothing else was. No, we've got the 8 of Cups. Okay. And 1 more card for Libra, please. Current energy. We've got the Ace of Oceans. Ooh, I like this. I'm using the Lost Forest deck, by the way, just in case I didn't mention that. So, in your current energy, you've got the 9 of Pentacles. You've got the 8 of Cups, as it is, and the Ace of Cups. I think Oceans and Earth in this deck, but Cups and Pentacles. This augurs very, very well, Libra. I like this a lot. The 9 of Pentacles is a card that talks about being in charge of your material circumstances in some way, right? So this can absolutely refer to money, getting your own bills paid and things like that. Good lord, it's a fucking RAC rally outside my house now all of a sudden, what the fuck. It can talk about being able to pay your own bills and all that kind of thing. But it can speak to something a little broader than that, because for me the Pentacle suit is about resources, and resources come in many forms. Energy, well, money in the form of energy is just one of those, but your effort, your time, your care, you know, your emotional input into things, these are all your resources at your disposal, and it seems like you're managing them very well at the moment. You're feeling on a level. And you're Libra, so I mean that's a good thing anyway, but it's a particularly good thing for a Libra. Now, these 2 cards are interesting because not only are they an 8 and an Ace, so they make they make 9. And where my mind slipped off to there, they make 9, matching this, and that is approaching completion in some way if you look at it from a numerological point of view. But the 8 of Cups talks about leaving something behind, right? Something that doesn't have any emotional value to you anymore. And in doing so, creating space for something new to come in. Now, what this is, you'll have to fill in the gaps because it's going to be different for each of you. But there's a sense of releasing something and a new thing coming in. Now, whether it was the prospect of having a new thing that allowed you to release the old thing, or whether it was the releasing the old thing and then the new thing coming in, I'm not sure either. But an 8 and a 9 together make the 9 of Cups. 8 and a 9 together, I'm telling you, my numbers all mixed up. It's terrible. Woosa. 8 of Cups and the Ace of Cups, which is a 1. This is 9 of Cups, right? This is going after something that's really, really important to you, right? Releasing the old, embracing the new. Fantastic. I hope that you followed my garble there, such as it was. I'm just trying to decide whether I want to pull some more cards, but I kind of actually feel like I do. I'm going to pull the Triple Goddess out because I'm intrigued. It feels like a very measured approach to everything, kind of like you've sorted out your 3D stuff, your material stuff, whether that's money or not. It's certainly your environment, it's certainly your mastery of it. And it's almost like you've turned your attention now to your emotional things, such as they are, whatever they are. How about the Eight of Cups, please? We've got the Four of Wands and the Fool come out with the Ten of Cups at the bottom of the deck. So you've got an 8 and an Ace, which makes a 9, and then you've got 10. Completion, emotional, you know, fulfillment, actually. But this Four of Wands being here feels like a... There are lots of ways to see this card. I mean, you see it's a card of celebration, right? So it's often called the wedding card. For me, it is foundational energy because it's a four. So it's those things that feel like home to you, right? And that doesn't have to be, you know, your four walls, although it absolutely can be. It tends to be how well you sit in your own skin as a thing, or those people around you that bring value to your life in some way, right? Who help you build something of a network around you that makes you feel valued and supported and like your life is worth celebrating in some way, right? What we've got here is you creating something new for yourself without really knowing where it's going, but kind of just being along for the ride, which is interesting because you're an air sign and you don't tend to so much. Oh no, I guess you are. No, you're cardinal air, so you don't tend to amble that much. You tend to have a plan. You tend to like to know where you're going with things. But I'm seeing a distinct lack of swords here in this reading for you. I'm not complaining. I think this is actually really quite good. There's a lot of heart-centered stuff here, and there's a lot of stability, like notions of stability and things like that, as we see with the Nine of Pentacles, right? Making your environment just so. When we see these two together, right, that's you crafting these for yourself without question. With this Ace of Cups, definitely leaving something behind and embracing something new in the fullest possible sense. As I said, kind of wandering and not being worried that you don't have a map. We've got the Hanged Man at the bottom of the deck, and that's a card that talks about changing of perspective quite often, but it does talk about achieving wisdom through that change of perspective. And it's quite passive. Feels like you've done your time, kind of sat thinking about this, submitting to a period of passivity, and now you're on the move. Now things are starting to happen. Right, that's very exciting. Right, give me 3 cards for what's coming towards Libra, please. Oh, fucking cards flying everywhere. We've got the Ten of Pentacles. Ooh. What's coming towards Libra, please? The Three of Wands. Ooh, I like how this is going. And one more card for Libra, please. And the King of Swords. Right, here's the sword energy, finally. And there's no messing about with this. It's not it's not piddling around with something out of the pips. It's straight up to the King. Now that is strictly the card of Aquarius, but I don't feel like that's relevant here, not for you. So the Ten of Pentacles is what I was talking about. It is that creating that new security and stability around you, right? It's a very committed energy, but it's also an energy of legacy in some ways, right? I'm going to take it as it resonates to you, but your current energy is the Nine of Pentacles, and what you are drawing towards yourself is the 10, right? The completion. Like I said, you were almost completing. Now you are completing in the last 2 weeks of July. Combine that with the Three of Fire, which is the Three of Wands, right? This is a card of action. You remember I said it felt like your period of passivity is over. Now you kind of it's not even like you know where you're going, but you've got a sense that it's time to move with something now, right? You've sat on it, you've sat on it rather, you've ruminated for long enough, and now it's time for action. Now it's time for activity. And whatever it is, it's something new, but it's something that has some level of emotional investment in it for you, right? You're leaving behind old things, and you're now running with the new. Because you really do have a new way of seeing things now, right? You haven't, like I said, you haven't messed around with any pips cards here. You've gone straight for the king. The king is the pinnacle of active expression, right? There's something quite creative, I think, about the King of Swords. I know it's not often interpreted that way, but his mental thought patterns are like this, like bizarre little sky horse thing. They're not limited in any way. Your ability to was it Steve Jobs or someone like that who said true creativity was being able to connect dots that other people could not, right? Something like that. It's like it's being out of the box and kind of being able to be, in some ways, kind of detached enough from the norm that possibilities open up to you that wouldn't occur to other people, right? You've really got a handle on this week, and this in this fortnight period here. And you definitely got your eye turned toward the future. There's no question about that. And you've definitely got stability and security on your mind. Like whatever you are working on, the next 2 weeks, as it will be when I upload this, but certainly the last 2 weeks of July are a really good time to bring something that you have been sitting on for a while to the fore, right? The energy feels good for it because you know exactly what you think. You know, you've got that creative kind of dot connecting thing going on here. Almost abstract thought. That's the way it feels. It feels slightly abstract, something that's slightly outside of the box, which is very Aquarian thinking anyway, actually, to be fair, because they're very much got their view set towards the horizon at all times, but it feels like this is what you are doing at the moment too. That's wonderful. I love that. Right. Let's have a look and see what the advice is for you. 3 cards of advice for Libra, please. Okay, so we've got the Queen of Swords. Love it. That's you, by the way. We've got the 7 of Pentacles and the Page of Pentacles that have come out together. I quite like that as well. And one last card. Ooh, bringing out the big guns now. We've got the World, Libra. This is a big deal. Okay. And this is fascinating. We've got the 2 of Skies, which is the 2 of Swords at the bottom of the deck. And I associate this with kind of like a bit of an impasse, you know, when you kind of, you can't decide which way to go. This feels like it's a breaking of the deadlock, right? And it's followed by the Queen of Wands, who is very spontaneous, you know, very almost opportunistic, in fact, but that makes it sound like she doesn't do the work beforehand. She does. It's like, it's a very present energy. It's very in the here and now energy, and this is what you're rocking underneath. Now, let's look at these cards of advice. We've got the Queen. So we've got the King and the Queen now. Beautiful cards, actually. This is very balanced. We've got a pair, you know, we've got Aquarius and Libra. We've got that kind of abstract thinking that I was talking about with Aquarius here, but with Libra, with you being cardinal air, you know, it's kind of like leading the way with things, right? So whilst this is very active, this is receptive, and as advice, I would say employ a level of discernment about what comes towards you, because I feel like because it's the Queen, you might have people offering advice that's coming from a very well-meaning place, but I don't think it necessarily is going to serve you particularly well, right? You've got the energy of the King here, right? Very discerning energy. but employ it a bit further down as well as a filter for what is coming towards you, for other people's ideas and stuff like that. Don't be distracted from your creative vision about how you want to go, right? Because they're not doing it, you are. They might be able to give you bits and pieces that are useful, but ultimately it's your vision going forward. Seven of Pentacles and the Page of Pentacles, for me, are two cards that talk about being dissatisfied with something in your current environment, being quite present with it and trying to work out whether to invest more in it or pull something out and, you know, change direction with it in some way. The Page of Pentacles knows the value of what it is that it's got. I really like this card here because you've got this tiny little creature here with this little light. I don't know how well the camera's picking it up. It's got this precious thing. Right? This is the precious thing that you have been working on, you have been sitting on, you have been ruminating on for quite a long time. Here it is, and I think that you're ready to move on it. Now, whether that involves you pulling out of something that you're already in or actually going like balls deep into what it is, now is the time to make the decision about it, right? Because we don't want this energy knocking around for much longer. You either completely withdraw or completely throw yourself all in, right? But keep what's important front and center. The final card that you've got is the World. Now this depicts the 4 fixed signs on it usually. So we've got Taurus, Leo, Aquarius and Scorpio. So more Aquarian energy actually, which is coming across here. But actually I think there are a number of things that come to mind with this card. Right? There's more of a sense of completion. Right, and we've seen you kind of moving towards completion with the other cards that have come up here. But this is true completion. This is the end of a very big cycle, and it's graduation and it's leveling up in some way. If you start to work on creating something new for yourself, bringing this thing out that you've been sat on for such a long time, right? You can see how that would move you up a little bit. Close out an old cycle where you were unsure or equivocating about something, right? I want to pull one more card for it. Tell me about the World. But honestly, I think it's just the tying up of loose ends that really, really welcome in the new. What you are getting ready to embrace in your new reality. It's coming towards you because we've got the Sun, which is fully conscious. For me, the Moon speaks about the subconscious, and therefore it follows that the Sun would be all about the conscious, you know, where the light hits everything, nothing is obscured, and it's all very positive. You've ended a cycle, I think, that has been a bit difficult for you at times, right? You're graduating upper level in some respects, and it's very positive. It's going to go very, very well for you. If you haven't seen the main video for the month, I think it should be about here right now. Maybe worth going back to have a look at that, and there is an extended to it that might help as well, because this sort of deals with a similar sort of notions that we're seeing coming up here. Certainly thematically it seems very similar. So other than that, I'm going to leave it here, and I'll see you in about a fortnight for the August readings. Right, take care.